See, now it won't let me do it. It's so fucked up. Now it won't let me rewind it. I think I had it recorded. I think I record all these. I think I set them up to record, and then I will be able to fast forward and rewind and whatnot. Yeah, I recorded it. Here we go. Now it has to let me record and rewind and whatnot. Fast forward and rewind. I was trying to do it just on the regular TV timeline, and it doesn't let you, it only lets you rewind, I guess, to a point, or... Anyway, that is so fucked up, people. And what gets me is when everybody was speaking, you know, the school superintendent, you know, the school, whoever speaks, the police commissioner, all the people that speak after one of these things, okay? And now we're going to hear from the FBI, and we're going to address the fact that why wasn't any even... Oh, but this was something, we couldn't trace the YouTube comment, I'm going to be the next school shooter. We couldn't trace that back to the source, and the tip came from somebody in another state, and so whatever. Now we find out a month ago, somebody close to Cruz, Nicholas, was reporting that he had the guns, he had a desire to kill people, whatever. The FBI completely ignored it. So why bother telling the American public? If you suspect anything, tell us. Report it. You could save lives. Why bother if the FBI is just gonna completely ignore you until something like this tragedy happens? See? But everybody's like, gun control, gun control, gun control. The FBI fucked up so badly. Are they going to be held accountable? No, probably not. They're going to say, sorry, we fucked up. No. Unreal. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. I've never tried this before, where I put the TV on silent and I read to you stuff that, if stuff comes on it. I was going to try it with one of those porn things, all the statistics they have with the drug thing. There's no excuse. The FBI was given such blatant, you know, tips, blatant information, and they chose to ignore everything. That's fucked up. That is so fucked up. We've never heard of that before. Usually people say, oh, we didn't suspect anything. This is so surprising, whatever. This was blatant, and the FBI just ignored it. And this was on top of somebody else. Because remember, the excuse they gave with the YouTube comment, where I'm going to be next mass school shooter, next school shooter, whatever, next school shooter. And that YouTube post was from Nicholas Cruz, and the FBI, the day of this shooting, shortly after it happened or whatever, you know, hours later, or maybe the very next, whatever it was when they spoke to say blah, blah, whatever, maybe it was the next, but they had the FBI director come on and say, yes, we admit, but we did investigate it, and we couldn't link it back to the source. Okay, give them the benefit of the doubt. Now we find out, and this wasn't a person who lived, it was just someone who saw this or whatever, and this wasn't we couldn't, first of all, you know, they can link it back to the source. YouTube knows every comment, and okay? And all the FBI is going to say is, oh, we fucked up. But what's amazing is the same guy who was making light and saying, you know, we did investigate, we were unable to link it back to Cruz, and you have to accept that that's what happened, okay? And now, just 2 days after the killing, they're telling the truth. Or 3 days, or whatever, that they investigated further, and now you find out, oh, surprise, surprise, somebody close to this person. So you know it's in, and the FBI did absolutely nothing. All the warning signs were there, okay? So how about instead of being worried about guns or whatever, you think, like, what the fuck? Somebody reported this shit, took the time to report it to the FBI, and it was completely fucking ignored, people. Ignored. Like whoever was reporting it was just making it up. So they had double. They had that YouTube comment that they claimed. I don't believe that now either. But now the same guy is saying, yep, we fucked up. Sorry, 17 people dead. More that could be permanently injured, you know, fighting for their lives in the hospital. We fucked up. How do you do that? Why would they just ignore this? And why do they bother telling any of us anywhere in the United States, if you suspect something, report it, if nothing's going to be fucking done, you know? Unreal. I'm listening to these people crying over their friends. And, you know, crying over their dead friends. This is sad. All the signs were there, and the FBI actually got a tip from somebody close to him and did nothing. So, American public, yeah, you should feel frustrated, feel you can report something this major to the FBI and they're going to do fucking nothing. And they won't be held accountable, I'm sure. It's messed up. That is so messed up. Wasn't expecting this one. People were already upset about that YouTube comment thing, and so-called conspiracy theorists were doubting that was even on the up and up, that they truly did investigate it, and like Joe sarcastically said, oh yeah, they can't trace that comment back to its source, but they can monitor he's like, they're listening to us right now, Laura, if they want to. They can monitor our every phone call or whatever, but they were unable to trace back to its source a comment posted by this guy's name when it was reported to them. But this was blatant. This is somebody close to this person who gave them all this information and they didn't follow up at all. So why do we even bother? Why do we bother? I mean, seriously. Why should anybody even bother to report anything if it's going to go completely ignored? You know, it's ridiculous. And all they're going to say is, yeah, we did, sorry. That's all that's going to happen. You bet your sweet ass all these people who are dead won't be able to sue the FBI. Okay? It's unreal. It was reported to the FBI. Cruz's unreal. Unfucking believable. Cruz's gun ownership, desire to kill people, erratic behavior, and disturbing social media posts. Under establishment protocols, the information provided by the caller should have been assessed as a potential... I gotta read this to you people. On January 5th, 2018, a person close to Nicholas Cruz, and remember the YouTube comment was written by his name, so he was all but screaming, you know, I'm going to do this, okay? But this is something different, and this came later after that YouTube comment was reported by somebody in another state, okay? On January 5th, 2018, a person close to Nicholas Cruz contacted the FBI's public access line, PAL, tip line. Why do you even have it? I want everyone who had people die or people in the hospital, whatever, everyone shot, everyone traumatized by this, everyone who lost loved ones, to ask the FBI, why do you even have a tip line if you're going to ignore something this serious? On January 5th, 2018, a person close to Nicholas Cruz contacted the FBI's public access line, PAL tip line, to report concerns about him. The caller provided information about Cruz's gun ownership, desire to kill people, erratic behavior, and disturbing social media posts, as well as the potential of him conducting a school shooting. Under established protocols, the information provided by the caller should have been assessed as a potential threat to life. The information then should have been forwarded to the FBI Miami field office where appropriate investigative steps would have been taken. We have determined that these protocols were not followed for the information received by the PAL on January 5th. On January 5th, no further investigation was conducted. Protocols were not followed. No further investigation was conducted. Oh my God. Unbelievable. People, this is unbelievable, okay? We've determined that For the information was ALICIACREATURE. We are still investigating. Yeah, you're investigating the situation. What bull? Someone takes the time to report this and you did nothing. The information should have been forwarded to the FBI. May have failed us, where appropriate investigative steps would have been taken. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Seriously. No. Unreal. Why bother having a tip line if you're going to completely ignore something this blatant? Why bother? See, we have determined these protocols were not followed for the information received by the PAL on January 5th. The information was not provided to the Miami field office. And, oh my God. Protocols were not followed. Okay, unreal. Now the guy that spoke to us the other day and made excuses that we did try about that one, but that was from, I heard him with my own, you understand, I heard him live. It was a breaking news thing, okay? So again, why bother? Why bother? That's what I say. Why bother turning in, why have a tip line? I mean, why do anything if if somebody's going to take the time to do this and you're going to completely ignore it? Something this blatant, you're going to ignore it. I mean, okay, this is what the same guy who the day of the shooting, hours later, or the very next day, I think it was actually the day of the shooting when they come forward and say what they know so far, and the FBI director was, now we're going to hear that from the FBI director. And yes, we did investigate that, blah, blah, blah. We couldn't trace it back to Cruz. And to Joe says, oh yeah, with all the surveillance they have on us, they couldn't trace back this comment that was made by this guy's name. All right, but this was blatant. This was someone who knew him. And the FBI completely, totally, beyond any shadow of any doubt, fucked up so badly that I wish all these people who lost loved ones could sue the FBI. Seriously. Unreal. Unfucking believable. I wasn't expecting this one. We're still investigating the facts. Okay, this is the same guy I got to see the day of this tragedy, this absolute massacre, okay? It's the same guy talking now, and now he's, oh my God. Robert Lasky, Special Agent in Charge, FBI Miami Division. Investigation was conducted, no investigation was conducted at this time. Open up further questions. How could this have been avoided? On behalf of myself and over 1,000 employees of the office, we truly regret additional pain this has caused. Oh, yeah, additional pain, 17 lives lost. I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. The information it is now clear, this other guy saying that the warning signs were there and tips to the FBI were completely ignored. This is absolutely outrageous. The information was actionable. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Oh my God. Attorney General Jeff Sessions ordered a full review, adding in a statement, it's clear warning signs were there and tips were missed, and we see the tragic consequences of those failures. He goes months many, it's our, oh, this is a woman saying about how there was police, now they're admitting too, the police. All of this, you understand, this kid was having police, now the police comes on and says, oh yeah, we had police going to this kid's house when he got older like 20 times, the neighbors saying, you know what I mean, all of this, and nothing was done. And people scoff at so-called conspiracy theorists, you know, unbelievable. Even Joe and I didn't know this was going to happen. We knew about the YouTube because no one does. It's slowly becoming unraveled, you know. Now the same police person I saw the other day is going to admit that the police were called to this guy's house like 20 times. And then of course they're saying, how did this kid get a gun? I don't understand how he legally bought a gun. Yeah. You know what? Like I've already said, and like other people, you know, if this person didn't have to get it legal, if he was said it, he could have easily got an illegal gun, you know. Unbelievable. Why have a tip line? That's what I say. Why have a tip line if it's going to be your tip that is so concrete? It's like everything. You can investigate as the FBI. You can go and look at the posts on the social media. This guy all but was handing himself to the authorities to be stopped. And they just completely, totally ignored it. So why are there tip lines if they're going to be ignored? That's what I say. What's the point? What's the point? This is unbelievable to me. And remember, it's not just the ones who died. There are a whole bunch that were absolutely were still in the hospital fighting for their lives. Unbelievable! Why bother having a tip line? Seriously. Why? That's what I say. Why should the police, FBI, anybody bother having a tip line if something like this can happen with somebody so blatantly disturbed and all but handing his intentions, you know, making them so known, and nothing's done. Nothing. He's not even talked to. Unreal. 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 Oh my God. We so-called conspiracy theorists are going to have a field day with this one. That's so unreal. Got all these tips on this guy. Because it was that tip, but it was also the other tip with the YouTube. And it's ignored completely. All the signs, and it's ignored. Unfucking believable. Unreal. Oh. Wait till I talk to Joe about that. Remember, Joe and I talked, this latest thing hadn't come out. See, slowly things are coming out. Now the same guy who was like, yeah, we admit we did get that, but it was a YouTube comment. We couldn't trace it back to its source. He said it right on TV. We were unable to trace it back to Nicholas Cruz. And the thing is, it also came from a guy, I heard him on live TV, it came from a guy who didn't even live in Florida. He lived in another state, and et cetera, et cetera. But we investigated that, and blah, 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 blah. And yet this came through that was blatant. Somebody close to this guy, and they did nothing. They did nothing. Nothing. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm in shock. Go pee-pee. Go pee-pee. Go pee-pee, Puck. Pee-pee. That's sick. There's no excuse. And the thing is, they won't even be held accountable. That's the sad thing. They're going to get to say, oh, sorry, we fucked up. But you heard what I said. It was supposed to be, whoever handles that tip line was supposed to forward it to the larger, broader FBI in Florida, you know what I mean? And they didn't. They ignored it. How do you ignore something that blatant, that specific about this particular extremely, you know, troubled person? Unbelievable. I'll tell you. Instead of saying, oh, if he wasn't sold a gun, this never would have happened, they should be looking at the FBI, all these people, because don't think for fucking second. People who think for one fucking second, like that girl I told you on Nightline the other night, last night, the night before, whenever. Because Nightline comes on at, oh no, I guess it comes on after J-Line, so it comes on at 11. But you know what I mean? If he hadn't been sold that gun, we need to have it blah blah blah, and this will never happen again. Dream on. You naive, sweet girl. I'm sorry what happened to you, but dream on. Guns are taken away from regular people or whatever, or only criminals will be the only ones with guns. And there are people, again, I don't get into this kind of shit, who believe there are elements of our government who are, you know, less than clean, shall we say. You know, that's why I just said it will never happen. Hillary had become president. That was the goal, to take away everyone's guns, but it'll never happen under Trump, and there'll be a civil war before people will ever voluntarily give up their guns like it's happened in other countries. Hey, my love. Now it's the next day. Now you're 11 years old in a few hours. When I told his eye doctor, you know, when I told his eye doctor that the woman at Petco could not believe that he was 10, she thought I would have guessed like 6 years old. The eye doctor was like, "Are you sure he's that old?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's not a what do you call it? He's not a rescue, he's not a mix, he's pure." Okay? I'm not going to apologize for that either. I know that people say you should never, because there's so many dogs that, you know, that need homes and whatnot, but, you know, I got him a long time ago. Donald and I got him, and we bought him not from some puppy mill or whatever. It was by, they periodically bred their pug, Sir Pugsley Lou and Brooke the Fifth, and she periodically had puppies that they sold, and we bought him for $700 off of, we met them obviously, the puppy, and he was the last puppy, so we didn't have to choose a puppy because he was the only one left out of 3. That litter had 3, and as my abusive ex used to say, we picked you out of a perfect patch of pugs because just no health problems. This dog has had no health problems. He's blind now, but he's blind in his old age, you know what I mean? Up until age 10, so for 10 years, no health problems, nothing. So that's what you call coming from good stock. It'd be interesting to know if his parents are still alive. And they were 5 years old, I think, when we got him. So 16, they may still be alive. Obviously not breeding anymore, you know. The question really is, why was the smaller thing investigated? The smaller tip thing with the YouTube comment, which there are people who write a lot of shit on YouTube, and you know, but they investigated that, yet last month, or a little over a month ago, they received something from somebody close to this guy, and they completely ignored it all. Like, go back, why have a tip line? I mean, that's a joke. See, when Joe and I talk about this, he's going to be like, "See, Laura, I told you." I know. It's deeper than we even suspected. It's just unreal. 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 There's no excuse. There is no excuse that this kid, this guy, this young guy, was not at least talked to. Everything pointed to that you should at least talk to him. And nothing was done. People need to be asking that. How could this have happened? Seriously. All these fucking people dead. The worst fucking school, second worst school shooting in our history. You know? No excuse. No excuse. No excuse. That was kind of interesting, huh? Where it's just, I needed to have the sound down. I didn't know it was suddenly going to come on like that. So, but I have to trim the first video just a tiny little seconds where the TV came on, you know. So they want back, dog. Your mama's love. Your mama's love, yes, your mama's love. Your mama's love. Here in Massachusetts, we're supposed to have really warm days next week. That's going to mean the ticks and fleas are probably going to hatch. And a mama's love, a mama's love, a mama's love, a mama's love, yes, yes, mama's love, mama's love, mama's love, a mama's love. Hi. So, you know, lots of people's dogs don't even live this long, so for Omar to have gone, you know, a whole 10 years without being blind. You know, I don't even know the exact day he went completely blind, because remember it was slow, remember it was gradual in one eye and then the other. Quiet. Quiet. Shh. It's too early to eat dinner. To eat breakfast. Quiet. It's too early to eat breakfast. Shh. Too early to eat breakfast. Quiet. Alright. No. This is an interesting experiment I wanted to try.